Welcome. Time flies when you're having fun, on a full stomach, and of course with a fuller heart and mind. Last year, when the coronavirus pandemic reared its ugly head and basically took over the world, all the beloved holidays that we celebrate were altered in one form or another, drastically. Like this one, the 4th of July, a celebration of all things America! We weren't able to gather at friends' houses for big family barbecues, nor were we able to throw ones ourselves, due to social distancing. Last year's special on the thrift store rundown was a direct representation of that, but hopefully it stood as motivation for you and your kitchen to become one, once again, with a little bit of star power to fuel your journey. Okay, a lot of star power to fuel your journey. Hey, we bring Hollywood home on a budget. But hopefully just enough star power so that you were able to celebrate the 4th and the many other holidays that followed in a stylish, safe, and delicious manner. Fast forward 1 year later, and times have changed for the better. Last year, businesses were either temporarily or indefinitely shut down. The ones that survived the storm are now reopening back up. Neighborhoods are reopening their doors once again. Vaccinations are being rolled out left and right across the country, and state after state after state, slowly but surely, including here in New Jersey, are lifting regulations and restrictions. So, America is once again open for business, and is once more opening their hearts to the simple pleasures that we left behind in the wake of COVID-19. One of those simple pleasures include dining out. I think a cross-country road trip is definitely more than in the cards this 4th of July. As such, we're going to take that cross-country road trip on a budget by visiting 3 well-known regional establishments in New York, in Chicago, and of course, since we are TSR, LA. For those who remain shut-in due to the pandemic, or for those who don't live close to any of these establishments, for you to frequent them on a regular basis, well, hopefully we'll be able to bring a delicious taste of Americana to your home. Consider this the Thrift Store Rundown's red, white, and blue plate special. Buckle up and mask up for a seriously scrumptious taste-along of epic portions. Our first stop on this patriotic taste-along is to an original American
Roadhouse
dinosaur barbecue. Now, judging by the sign of dinosaur barbecue and the cover of this cookbook, you might think it's one of those Memphis or Kansas City barbecue joints. It is neither. Although those signature Southern barbecue flavors are alive and well in this cookbook and the recipes contained herein, it is actually a staple of Syracuse, New York. The author is the owner and proprietor of Dinosaur Barbecue, John Stage. It's co-authored by Nancy Radke. James says these photographs tie everything together and make you truly feel that you're actually inside this sumptuous bite of the Big Apple. This was purchased for $3.99 and is a 10-speed press publication. It is dedicated to the staffers of Dinosaur Barbecue and the great customers who continue to endure the lewdness, crudeness, and the noise and general chaos of our happy little restaurant. They're acknowledged once again in John Stage's acknowledgments, which is good to see. I talk up acknowledging restaurant frequenters, their guests, their customers, to acknowledgement of the fans. And rest assured, all 3 of the restaurants I'm going to highlight today have their fair share of fans, regionally and nationally. That's how good they should be. The recipes in here are broken down into the 5 food groups of good barbecue or grilling: beef, chicken, fish, lamb, pork, plus sides and desserts. And yes, there are some soups and delicious ways to utilize all of the barbecue leftovers. A resource guide at the end gives you contact info where you can find all of the original sauces and spice rubs, where you can find the dinosaur barbecue locations, including the main one, the first one in Syracuse, New York, as well as find a local tattoo artist. Yes, the real extreme frequenters of dinosaur barbecue, the real loyal and faithful and true, they actually have tattoos that pay homage to dinosaur BBQ, and some of those photographs accompany this book as well. I don't much care for tattoos, but hey, there's that for you. And also, plenty of sound bites from many a faithful to dinosaur BBQ.
We got in the business of feeding bikers, literally like that. There was no business registration, there was no formal business plan, there was nothing. We just cut a 55-gallon drum in half and started coming to these events. We had made a barbecue sauce, that's why we called ourselves Dinosaur Barbecue. This guy said, what the hell is this? Why are you calling yourself barbecue? I was like, what do you mean? You know, we're grilling this steak. He goes, no, man, barbecue's about, you know, long periods of time, slow smoking, you gotta dig a pit. So at that point, what that guy said to me really stuck in my head. Then it was like, I gotta find out what real barbecue was. And the following year, I took my motorcycle and rode to what I thought at that time was the Shangri-La Barbecue in Memphis, Tennessee. And rode the bike down there through Mississippi, Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, all in search of what real barbecue was. We went from bike events to fairs to festivals and decided to open up a restaurant. And we did that in Syracuse, 1988. We're in the bar right now, but it started in the front room. It was a little, you know, about 30 seats. 1988 to 91, I mean, those are some very, very lean times. So, I mean, we could have closed the doors 20, 30 different times during those 2 years. So when the bar opens, we decide to get into live music. And then at the same time, from the booze to the live music, to the bikers that were here, to regular people starting to come in, it became like this sociological experiment that I don't know if it even existed before this, because either it was a biker bar and a place where other people hung out. It became one of the first times bikers and regular people and people from all walks of life started coming together. And all of a sudden everything blew up around that time, around 1992, and then it just became kind of a runaway train at that point. I always wanted to do something different in each location and have each location feel different. Well, the nice thing about adding locations, it becomes another story in the chapter, another brick in the mortar. And as long as they're good, as long as they feel good, the story gets a little bigger and the story gets a little richer. So I like adding new locations. It's another adventure. It's another, you know, can we pull this off? It's exciting. You just do what you got to do, and I feel good about what we're doing.
So let's show some of the recipes, shall we? Barbecue chicken wings. Central and Western New York is wing country, so you gotta have some good wings on your menu. They also call these dino wings. Most places fry their wings according to the original buffalo recipe, but we smoke ours. So, they give you the basics for the chicken, plus the accoutrements, celery sticks and blue cheese dressing for any proper buffalo wings, plus mild wings and hot wings. You can actually make some of the dinosaur barbecue rubs and sauces by following the recipes on some of the pages. So that's pretty neat too. Now on to a dinosaur-style macaroni and cheese shepherd's pie. Yeah, you heard me right, mac and cheese shepherd's pie. A twist on a classic British pub recipe. The beefy base of the pie gets flavored up dino style and topped off with savory mac and cheese instead of the traditional mashed potatoes. It makes a hearty meal. Just add salad. At Dinosaur Barbecue, they follow the meat and 3 rule. Main course, meat, and 3 sides. Or maybe 2 sides and a dessert. That depends on how hungry you are. And if you own this cookbook already or have been to Dinosaur Barbecue, I reckon you feel mighty hungry just looking at this right now. Oh, but oh boy, it gets better. Dinosaur-style ribs. This is our reason for being. If you're a rib joint, you'd better have great ribs. And this cookbook has great ribs. And great tips for how to be the boss of your rib pit. Plenty more tips for ingredients and proper barbecuing and grilling equipment accompany the book as well. You'll find them sprinkled sporadically throughout. It's not a proper celebration of all things America without at least one trip to a state fair near you. So I'm highlighting this state fair sausage and pepper sandwich. A dinosaur patron says, due to budget cutbacks, the light at the end of the tunnel is being removed. If you have a sausage and pepper sandwich to accompany you along the journey, well then, that light can get even stronger. It is just sausage and peppers. Okay, plus onions. But really, it's a sausage and pepper sandwich that's more than the sum of its parts if cooked just right. This comes from the early days of Dinosaur Concessions. This was one of their first names for their business, Dinosaur Concessions. Here are some dinosaur-style barbecue beans. They have a deep, brooding flavor, sweet and spicy at the same time. We add crumbled hot Italian sausage to make them truly special. So let's just say that this is a pure carnivore's delight. Sorry, vegans and vegetarians, we'll have you covered at the end of the show. Finally, Dr. Pepper Texas Chocolate Cake. I'm not kidding. Dr. Pepper is one of the main active ingredients that gives this Texas chocolate cake, as John Stade says, an outrageous flavor. You know who that would appeal to? Take a guess. The one and only Dr. Pepper unofficial spokesperson for YouTube, Lily Marston. Plus, you know a bit of Dr. Pepper history. Dr. Pepper was first made and sold in 1885 at Morrison's old corner drugstore in Waco, Texas. Just like the state it comes from, this cake is big and impressive. The soft drinks combination gives the layers exceptional rising power, and its special blend of flavorings makes licking the beaters especially appealing. So this is definitely something you'll want to get the little kids involved. Yeah, little kids shouldn't drink soda, but I believe the combination should wear off. Just like if you add alcohol to cooking, most of the alcohol burns off. Those are the vapors that are coming out of the pan, the steam. Not all the alcohol burns off, so I believe not all the combination burns off, but, or maybe you don't even add it to the pan, you just add it to the batter, but you're able to taste it a little bit. That's the key to the chocolate cake. We have here a lot of praise from the biker, barbecue, and blues music industries for this cookbook. And by the way, another staple of dinosaur barbecue, live blues music played nearly every night. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, helps you digest your food better than live music if you're dining out. The top 21 background music songs played every day at the joint? Well, they're fairly star-studded here, from Hank Williams to Waylon Jennings, the late Waylon Jennings, the Rolling Stones, T-Bone Walker, and the Nighthawks. Do you have a favorite song here in this list? Let me know. Here are some photographs from James Searcy featuring some of the live acts at Dinosaur Barbecue. Now, I'm not really a fan of the, Super 8 effect, the blurred lens, banded lens filter that some of these photos have. I guess they add to the great liveliness of everything, but they just make it look like a 2000 traveling commercial. At least that's my opinion anyway. Aside from that, I hope that this is enough to make any stomach out there war. Now, aside from the bikers, the blues, and the barbecue enthusiasts, I'm not sure what the status is of the dinosaur barbecue when it comes to other celebrity clientele. You know, name brand Hollywood celebrity clientele. Like example, the late Patrick Swayze, I don't know if he ever frequented Dinosaur Barbecue, if he ever visited Syracuse, New York. But if he did, and if he dug in and didn't dig it, well, ain't that a kick in the head? Because of everything you've just seen and heard, this is one ass-kicking
Roadhouse.
Next stop on the American Taste-Along is to the Berghoff Cafe on 17 West Adams Street in Chicago, Illinois. Now, if you're not familiar with the name Berghoff, then you probably haven't visited Chicago in a while, or like ever, because the name Berghoff is synonymous with fine and casual dining in the Windy City. In 1898, Herman Berghoff founded the Berghoff Cafe. That's right. This place has stood the test of time for well over a century. Its popularity is so palpable and significant that in fact it spawned 2 cookbooks, this being one of them, and the other of which being the Berghoff Family Cookbook, From Our Table to Yours, celebrating a century of entertaining, which I'll be on the lookout for. I know I really shouldn't be buying any regional restaurant cookbooks unless they have celebrity clientele featured in them, or at least mentioned, but there's just something so quaint and unique and special about bringing regional restaurant taste home on a budget that I just get a soft spot in my heart for these type of books, and I have to buy them. In the meantime, I hope the Berghoff Cafe cookbook will suffice, especially if you're in the mood for Berghoff family recipes for simple, satisfying food. This was purchased for $3.99. It is an Andrews McNeil publication, and it is co-authored by the CEO of the Berghoff Catering and Restaurant Group, Colin Berghoff, with noted food writer Nancy Ross Ryan. With daily specials. This is truly bringing restaurant taste home on a budget. Bringing home those signature dishes, the blue plate specials, if you will. Like many diners and restaurants in the country, especially during and right after the Great Depression, the Berghoff Cafe featured the popular plate lunches and dinners, a complete meal on a plate. Protein, starch, and a vegetable. Good food, and lots of it at a good price. And that's exactly what I'm going to feature here in this section. Colin's Stew du Jour with vegetables. That means stew of the day. You heard of soup of the day? Well, this is Colin's much more substantial Stew du Jour, stew of the day. There are many features she likes about it. She can cook it in 1 or 2 days ahead and refrigerate it, then reheat it the day that she wants to serve it. And the flavors are even better, so you want to take that in mind. Second, you can use any kind of cubed meat or poultry that you could be in the mood for. And then use vegetables that are available year-round, so this is a 4 seasons recipe. Lastly, it makes a great family dinner or buffet dish. You see this here? Berghoff plate dinners. These are some of the original selections on those menus. That, along with plenty more historical tidbits about the restaurant, and of course the restaurant's operations, the ingredients, the recipes, the signature dishes, and a few of its longtime staffers. They're sprinkled sporadically throughout here. They act as historical seasoning to this well-seasoned, deeply flavorful cookbook. Meatballs with red sauce, classic Salisbury steak with mushroom julie or july, and spetzel. That's a German pasta. I should remind you that mainly Berghoff Cafe serves traditional German and German-American fare. But in this cookbook, you mainly get upscale yet totally accessible comfort food with a modern twist, much like the Berghoff Cafe itself. Here's a section here on how to arrange a plate lunch on a plate. Just simply look at the clock and accordingly arrange your food to the correct times on the clock that Colin specifies here in this sidebar. It's a timely, if you'll pardon that lame pun, and artful presentation of your blue plate specials. Schnitzels, turkey meatloaf, and bourbon-basted baked ham. Plus some more history about the blue plate special. Beer braised pork loin, and believe it or not, cafe pizzas, a new tradition. Like I said, comfort food with modern twists. Homemade pizza crust to get you started, and some really unique and delicious toppings to put on that crust. A Berghoff veggie pizza, smoked sausage and potato, cafe onion and bacon, Kraut and Swiss cheese pizza with a caraway crust, one of their signature pizzas on the menu at Berghoff Cafe. And finally, a 4-cheese pizza. Finally, kind of a World's Fair, if you will, of pizza, the world's pie. In India, they top pizza with pickled ginger, mixed mutton, and paneer cheese. Japan, mayonnaise, potato, and bacon, plus eel and squid. Brazil, green peas. In Russia, makba, a favorite combo of sardines, tuna, mackerel, salmon, and onions. In Pakistan, curry. Yes, curry on a pizza. Which, compared to the other selections here, I think is the most conventional of them all. Barbecued shrimp and pineapple in Australia, coconut in Costa Rica. Okay, just strike that. Coconut on a pizza, unless you're going for a really extreme sweet and savory hybrid or an all-sweet dessert pizza, I would not consider coconut. Finally, the Netherlands, well, they double Dutch it. A favorite combo of double the cheese, double the onions, and double the beef. So as I'm perusing through this cookbook, there is an above average amount of recipe photography and a decent amount of restaurant photography as well. Colin Berghoff does, I think, a real good job at conveying the accessibility of all these recipes, many of them from the Berghoff Cafe. Some of them can be served for lunch at the Berghoff restaurant itself because it's actually a restaurant and 2 cafes in 2 buildings, named the Berghoff buildings. They are all seasoned recipes. You can find the ingredients at the supermarket, farmer's market, in your pantry. They're snap to put together. Some of them might take just a little more time, but they should be quite simple to prepare, and the results should be stunning. The only fault I have with this particular cookbook is that unlike the other 2, including the final cookbook I'm going to feature in a moment, the Lemonade Cookbook, Colin does not acknowledge the patrons of the Berghoff restaurant at all. Darn shame. But the acknowledgements are structured carefully so that I can cut her some slack in that regard. The rest of the recipes are categorized into, well, your traditional recipe categories for a standard cookbook of any kind, you know. Appetizers like bar snacks, food for drink, soups, sandwiches, salads, sides, Berghoff plates, so we will classify those as main dishes alongside the cafe pizzas, and finally, desserts. So that's the Berghoff Cafe cookbook for you. Now, for those who frequent the Berghoff Cafe with great regularity and with regular rigor, take heart. The Berghoff Cafe and restaurant will reopen its doors to loyal customers Monday, July 12th. In the meantime, I certainly hope that you'll take this as the wind beneath your Chicago-style chicken wings. Pardon the air conditioner in the background, please. It is starting to feel like a real scorcher here in northern New Jersey. So much so that it actually feels like that we arrived at our final destination, sunny Southern California, for a sip of some bright, refreshing, all-natural lemonade. And by that I mean the lemonade cookbook from the lemonade chain of fast casual restaurants owned and operated by co-author and co-founder Alan Jackson, who bears no relation to the country music star of the same name, even though he is the grandson of famed film actor Alan Ladd and the son of legendary LA talk radio host Michael Jackson, who himself bears no relation to the late great king of pop. Everyone clear on that? Joining Alan in adapting more than 120 SoCal comfort food recipes from LA's favorite modern cafeteria for the St. Martin's Plus publication is Joanne Ciancioli, renowned food television producer. This features photographs by Victoria Pearson and was purchased for $3.49, albeit with a slight bit of hesitation. I don't buy regional restaurant cookbooks unless there's some mention of celebrity clientele in them. And this covers that criteria on the back, with an endorsement from Matt LeBlanc of Friends. Love Alan Jackson's restaurants. Come on, who doesn't love lemonade? And 2 other reading endorsements from some of Alan's peers, Michael Chiarello and Chef Roy Choi. Have a look at the table of contents for this cookbook. The recipe names, although uncatchy, are simple and straightforward. And when you see the main ingredients in the titles of the recipes, you know that they're going to be only as good as the quality of the produce that you purchase to make them. So I would categorize this as more of a spring and summer cookbook than anything else. It doesn't really feel like a all 4-season cookbook. So this requires you to make a trip to the farmer's market or your supermarket during 2 peak seasons where you can find the best fruits and veggies, spring and summer. But they should all be quite simple to prepare. And like I said, we're gonna cover something for the vegans and vegetarians out there. We're gonna throw you a bone, so to speak, with marketplace vegetables, plus legumes and grains. Anything that says marketplace here, I have on good authority, would translate very well into a protein bowl for a truly authentic SoCal dining experience. Right after a photograph here, which outlines in brief various cutting styles for your fruits and veggies. Minced, brunoise, cubed, on a biased cut at a 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle, julienne and chiffonade. If you don't have your chiffonade game down, you can just call it confetti. Like Rachel Ray does. You know, little basil confetti. Romano bean, Great Northern bean, corn and Dijon. So, for this section here, it's mostly just a few main ingredients, some veggies, and in the next chapter, some protein, some meat of some kind, with a vinaigrette or a dressing to tie all the flavors together. Beluga lentils, quinoa, persimmons, and a voodoo vinaigrette. Pre-lentil, piquillo peppers, olives, and red wine and oregano vinaigrette. Olive oil braised lima beans, lemons, and parmesan. So we're talking light, refreshing, well-balanced in flavors and textures, LA cuisine. And I have to say, the name Lemonade, yes, while very aptly named, is quite attractive and appropriate because much like homemade lemonade, and by homemade, for this context, I mean made on the home turf of lemonade restaurants all across Southern California. The cuisine here, again, is bright, refreshing, all natural, organic, a little bit sweet, a little bit tough, a little bit tangy, very citrusy, satisfying, and a little spicy. Yes, you can add a little spice to your lemonade. I'll show you that later. Marketplace vegetables and protein. The marketplace veggie recipes in here are really just the foundations for you to add any protein that you desire, like ahi tuna to this snap pea watermelon radish with ginger vinaigrette bowl. Bay shrimp with cannellini beans, shallots, and cayenne. smoked salmon, followed by cucumber, bagel, croutons, and horseradish dressing. And so on and so forth. Now, you notice here there's not a recipe photograph for every recipe here, but the ones that Victoria Pearson shot and featured in this cookbook really accentuate all the flavors that you see throughout it. And of course, because it is called lemonade, how else can I end this review? By showing you their all-natural, house-made lemonades. An old-fashioned lemonade, and if you really want to be bold, if you really want to live like a true LA insider, blueberry and mint, cucumber and mint, cantaloupe, sage, peach, ginger, watermelon, rosemary, pear, basil, pineapple, coriander, kiwi, strawberry, green apple, and, as I teased earlier, jalapeno. Yeah, you can add jalapeno to your lemonade, but something infinitely more, shall we say, interesting. Extra kudos to Chef Alan Jackson for acknowledging his many loyal patrons of lemonade. The Lemonade Cookbook takes the bold flavors, imaginative dishes, and Southern California charm that made the brand an instant hit and packages them in this fresh, beautifully photographed book. Filled with delicious recipes that are ideal for today's on-the-go lifestyles and perceptive palates. This book is for all cooks who want to make sophisticated, highly urban comfort food with ease. They lay out most of their recipes and ingredients in a cafeteria-like way. In fact, before this ever came to my library, this is how I often visualize that dreaded term, cafeteria food. Is Lemonade's cafeteria-style layout for their restaurants. Cafeteria food I think you will prefer. As a matter of fact, one more picture walk in here, so you can see the rest of the recipes in here. From carnivores to vegans and vegetarians, those that crave trendy protein bowls that satisfy more than just your Instagram followers, and everything else in between. This is truly one of the more colorful and verdant, vibrant cookbooks that I've seen in a while in regards to a restaurant. As a bonus surprise review for you guys, I have Lemonade Mouth. That's right, the companion soundtrack to one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies. Although not really that a favorite of mine, that much a favorite of mine. I do, however, adore this woman right here. Let me give you a little backstory. I watched the premiere of Lemonade Mouth a long time ago on Disney Channel. It has Bridget Mendler from Good Luck Charlie. We also have Adam Hicks, Haley Kiyoko, Blake Michael. Well, you can see all the songs and the principal cast listing, the principal performers who make up the band Lemonade Mouth here on the back. This was purchased, as you saw on the price tag, for $2.69. I only watched like the first 15 minutes of it and then changed the channel. However, my favorite song on the Lemonade Mouth soundtrack is Determinate. They often played a lyric video around the time that they were hyping up the premiere of Lemonade Mouth, and it premiered to some strong ratings for Disney Channel. It was one of the strongest ratings performances of the night. And it earned a Directors Guild of America nomination for, I believe, a children's programming, whatever that is. Yes. Bridget Mendler, Adam Hicks, Naomi Scott, Haley Kiyoko, and Blake Michael make up Lemonade Mouth, and they have 10 tracks here, and I believe they play in chronological order that they're presented in the film. This is the bonus track, Living on a High Wire. The principal themes in Lemonade Mouth, and of course those that play out in the soundtrack, are freedom of self-expression, bravery, standing by your friends, and being yourself. However, there's one overriding theme throughout this entire soundtrack, and that is the journey to becoming famous. Fame drives a good majority of these songs here. I don't know if that's a turn on or turn off for you. I'm kind of neutral about it. And of course, you're seeing the lyrics for each song in the pamphlet, which I'm showing you here, along with stills from the film. It's a very colorful pamphlet here. Lots of yellow tints throughout, and of course, lemon slices. Hence the term Lemonade Mouth. The band got its name, however, because of the lemonade vending machine in their high school. And the band got their start after finding their groove and chemistry in, of all places, and this is kind of Breakfast Club-esque, detention. It's an enjoyable film, and the soundtrack is equally enjoyable, again my favorite song being Determinate. The main genre throughout this is rock, but in many variations. Touch of alt 90s rock, we have pop rock, folk rock, and a little touch of indie rock playing throughout. Kind of Lady Gaga-esque, but not so much so that it becomes a detriment to the enjoyment of this album. And just like the Lemonade Cookbook, and a good old glass of ice-cold, refreshing lemonade. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit tangy, a little tart, a little citrusy, and a little spicy. You combine all that criteria, and I think that Lemonade Mouth would definitely be a perfect ingredient for a perfect recipe for your next summertime soiree. And, provided that you have a glass of ice-cold lemonade to enjoy this with, I think you can determine this to be quite a delectable combination, no matter what weather climate you swear by. Not only are you getting quite a taste of America, you're also getting a taste of American history. Two of the three cookbooks here, these two, offer a brief but thorough history regarding their humble beginnings. Lemonade does not. Two of the three cookbooks here, these two, thank the loyal customers and patrons of their respective establishments. This does not. Oh, and one more thing regarding Lemonade Mouth. These are the songs. Turn up the music, somebody, and the crowd goes. My favorite song here, Determinate. Here we go, She's So Gone, More Than a Band, Don't You Wish You Were Us, Breakthrough, and the bonus track, Living on a High Wire. We have solo performances from Bridget Mendler, who plays Olivia in the film. She also plays Teddy Duncan for one of my favorite Disney Channel sitcoms, Good Luck Charlie. I can't affirm or deny that I developed a little bit of a crush on Bridget Mendler when I watched her as Teddy Duncan. We have solo performances from Chris Rochu and Naomi Scott as well. Bonus content for the album includes the Somebody music video and a photo gallery and much more. I believe a link to the Lemonade Mouth website on DisneyChannel.com or Disney.com. I believe you get the photo gallery here in the liner notes, and for the Somebody music video, if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below if I can find it. Anyway, let's rate these things, shall we? I mean, really, there's nothing to fault with for any of these three cookbooks. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find an option here that will not tickle your taste buds for the summer. All three of these books are definitely cool for the summer, and I award them all the maximum of 5 claps. As for Lemonade Mouth, 4.5 out of 5 claps, and that brings the total to 19.5 out of 20. I don't know if you crunched the numbers during our spiritual world trip across America with full hearts and even fuller stomachs, but to get from Syracuse, New York to Chicago and to LA takes about 2,622 miles. That means literally and figuratively It takes miles and miles and miles of heart, determination, creativity, and pure American grit to make sure that all three of these cookbooks become staples in your homes. Or maybe one of the three or two of the three. Heck, I'll leave them all in the description below. And as far as Lemonade Mouth goes, if there's a better Subway soundtrack than Lemonade Mouth in terms of Disney Channel soundtracks, I have yet to come across that one. Or maybe shake it up, but that's another day. How best to end this review? Well, a good eating prayer from the Dinosaur Barbecue. If you enjoy me, get down on your knees and put up your paws. Thank the good Lord for the use of your jaws. Can I get an amen? Because I think that prayer sums up all three of these cookbooks beautifully. With that said, the Thrift Store Rundown wishes you all a finger-licking good and safe 4th of July. God bless the American palate. Thank you for watching, and of course I'll catch you on the thrift side.